What's up, everybody? Taylor here, and this weekend on our full episode, we're going to be featuring John Kehl as our guest. John is the host of the excellent Song Surfing podcast, where once a week he brings you a playlist of all indie music from all over the world. And we wanted to share his most recent episode with you before you get to know him on our upcoming episode. So what you're going to hear now is the latest episode of Song Surfing. It's a really great one. There's a lot of cool tracks on here. Be sure to go and subscribe to Song Surfing and check out John on our new episode this Saturday.
Hey, Song Surfers, welcome to Song Surfing. It's your friend, John. Song Surfing is a playlist of independent music pulled from the far reaches of the internet. I've been checking out music on Bandcamp, Spotify, Slap, SoundCloud, Audiomack, YouTube, Facebook, Audius, Instagram, and a few more. And I'm excited to share some excellent tunes with you this episode. Song Surfing is a part of the Live from the Lincoln Lodge podcast network. Head over to thelincolnlodge.com where you can explore the other shows on the network and learn more about the venue that's home to the nation's longest-running independent comedy showcase. Friends, if you're joining me for the first time, thanks so much for being here. If you're listening from a podcast app, remember to click follow or subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you're listening from the website, songsurfingpodcast.com, the Captivate player that's on there, if you click on that, it'll take you to whatever podcast app you have preloaded on your phone. iOS and Mac OS people, remember, please take a second to write a positive review. Those reviews not only help me know it's working on the show, but it also helps more people find the show. Man, I am so pumped for this episode. We're going to hear a tune from one of my favorite albums, maybe even my favorite album so far this year. Gosh, every time I listen to it, I like it more. We'll hear one of the earwormiest choruses, and I promise you that's a good thing. We need a better term for that, don't we? Because who wants to imagine worms in their ears? We need something cute and cuddly, charming, something less like mentally offensive. Okay, how about this? We're going to hear a song this episode with a real ear kitten of a chorus. Any better? I don't know. I kind of like the idea of kittens being in my ears, until maybe they start using my eardrum as a scratch post, then not so much. And the legend himself has returned fresh off of his trip to the International Space Station, where he was studying the effects of gamma radiation on ear kittens. Correspondent Zek will stop by Song Surfing HQ with not one, not two, but 3 excellent tunes for you. We'll hear music from Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and João Pessoa in Brazil. First up will be a song by Vaguess, which is the moniker of Los Angeles' Vinny Early. The Vaguess project started in 2012 and has shifted sonically many times over the last decade. We'll be hearing the song Profit or Punk, which Vinny told me is making fun of the current state of the music biz, but also making fun of the idea that before Spotify, every independent artist would be making a living off of music. The reality is that the same exploitative suits leeching off musicians back then are the ones doing it now. People are lamenting something that didn't actually exist. It's very human. All right, friends, first, I'm going to say you just have to hear this album. It's so good. I love it. Every song is super catchy with interesting lyrics and tight grooves played by the rhythm section. And I say rhythm section, but it's Vinny on all the instruments. I chose this particular track because it showcases a lot of the elements that you hear throughout the album, a lot of the elements that I love about the songs. And those elements include a tight krautrock groove, these interesting weird guitar leads, this amazingly annoying chorus and keyboard, and I say that with love, annoying in the best possible way. And Vinny's speak-sing vocals are just great. And I want to know when the Vegas tour kicks off, because I'm there, man. I'm tempted to go to LA to hear this band now. I'm a fan. All right, so this will be Profit or Punk by Vaguess off of the Nothing's Secret album out on Refry Records. Oh, and friends, I should say Vaguess is with a unique spelling. It's Vaguess. UESS. Ve and then the word guess. All right, Prophet or Punk, Vaguess. See you on the other side.
5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know, can you hear me? We're all creating a nightmare aesthetic. Professional artists? Yeah, right, forget it. You don't want substance and you don't want meaning. All that you wanted is trending and fleeting. We pretend that our thoughts are our own, that they were manufactured by marketing drones. Buzz created by AI and metrics instead of the boardrooms of labels. Pathetic. Profit or bomb. Profit or bomb. Profit or bomb. Profit or bomb. Things were much better. We all could be famous or shelved by a suit at Geffen. How heinous. It's all payola from indies
Hey, 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 we are back. First in the block, we heard Vaguess with the song Prophet or Punk. That was followed by Vanessa Silberman with the song Love Will Always Find a Way. Vanessa Silberman is a singer-songwriter and record producer out of Brooklyn, New York, via Los Angeles. Prior to 2020, Vanessa was widely known through the DIY touring community for her energetic live shows, as well as playing and booking over 800 shows across the US, UK, and Europe. Whew, you must be tired. It's a lot of shows. In support of 2 EPs, which are called Brighter in Bloom and Self-Titled. Numerous other singles, a cassette, and 7-inch vinyl. Currently, she's working on an EP set to be released in 2022, so watch out for that. And about her music, Vanessa says, "My purpose is to inspire by giving love, joy, hope, and positivity through music to people on this planet." Friends, I love the positive message behind the song, and this is the one with the ear kitten of a chorus that I was talking about at the intro. Man, I've had this thing stuck in my head for just weeks now. And I really like the relaxed mid-tempo groove. It makes the perfect accompaniment to a warm spring day as the weather's turning here in Chicago. If you're liking the tunes that you're hearing on this episode, then take the next step and help the artists. You can spread the word about your favorite artists and their songs by sharing their Bandcamp and streaming platform links on social media. Maybe text your friend about it, tell your mom about it, buy some merch. Remember, you can find all of the artists' websites and their preferred streaming and purchase links over on the episodes and show notes page of songsurfingpodcast.com. Hey, if you haven't heard it yet, episode 45 of Song Surfing was the second in a series of all Chicago episodes that I'm going to be periodically doing on Song Surfing. There's a huge variety of artists there representing folks from all around the city, so go give that a listen if you haven't yet. And then coming up next week will be something I'm so excited for you to hear. It's an interview with UK songwriting duo O'Neill and Jones, and they actually picked out 2 other duos to feature, so it's an all duos episode, the first of its kind on Song Surfing. That'll be episode 47. All right, here's my chat with Zach. Talk to you on the other side. Song Surfers joining us yet again. International man of mystery, Zach. What's up, Zach?
Hey, John. Good to see you again. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to hear what you picked out. So what do you have first?
Got a lot of different stuff for you today, John. So the first one I want to start with, it's a band from Chicago called Rezn, spelled R-E-Z-N. They play a trippy psychedelic brand of doom metal. Now, doom, as a subgenre, it's kind of antithetical to a lot of people's perceptions of what metal is, because it's slower, it's more drawn out. It's not necessarily fast and aggressive, but it can still be heavy. It can still be very engaging. So Rezn plays an especially hypnotic style. They layer reverb, drenched guitar with a lot of keyboards, saxophones, whatever they feel like doing. They have a really shimmery, pretty quality to their music, where even when the guitars kick in with a bit more power, the songs feel really ethereal and dreamy. So the track I chose today is called Garden Green, off their Chaotic Divine album. And it's one of the quieter, less metal songs, but it's super mesmerizing. It has awesome atmosphere that they create, and again, their saxophone. And I personally think there should always be more saxophone in metal and hard rock.
Yeah, that's not something you hear too often.
Nope.
So here's what the band provided. The music churned out by Chicago quartet Rezn somehow manages to convey both crushing mass and cosmic weightlessness.
Yep.
The seed for the band's megaton riffs and psychedelic journeys was planted when guitarist Rob McWilliams and bassist Phil Cangelosi began jamming together at age 12 in the D.C. commuter town of Leesburg, Virginia. They relocated to Chicago in 2015, recruited local sound engineer Patrick Dunn to bash on the drums, and set about recording their debut album, the Molten Amp Worship Service Let It Burn, after playing just 3 shows together. They invited their friend Spencer Ollett into the studio to round out their bottom-heavy sound with the hum and squall of modular synth, and the added textural component immediately became a key facet of their sound. I think metal bands have the coolest bios, Zach.
They really do. Yeah. It's always, they make everything exciting.
You have a few tunes for us this episode. Let's talk a little bit before each one. So let's go ahead and play Rezn's Garden Green for the listeners, and then I'll talk to you again in a minute.
Sounds good.
Song Surfers, we are back with Zek.
All right, Johnson. Next, I got a rapper from New York by the name of Homeboy Sandman. He's actually been an artist in the underground scene for a little while. He's been quietly putting out albums since, say, 2007 or so. I caught wind of him recently when he did a 3 EP project with Aesop Rock. under the name Lice, maybe like 5 or 6 years back. And anyone who likes Aesop Rock, with his verbose, twisted flow, his sense of humor, they'd really like what Homeboy Sandman has to say also. He's probably one of the most honest, elevating rappers I've ever heard. He doesn't try to cover up any weakness with bravado. He openly talks on his albums about traumas he's dealt with in the past. He's pretty plain-spoken in his approach, but he's still really creative in his rhyming. He's usually very positive and really life-affirming in his subject matter. I got this song called Stress off his 2020 album Don't Feed the Monster. I think it's a pretty good example of those aspects of his style.
Homeboy Sandman's favorite song is Knocks Me Off My Feet by Stevie Wonder. His second favorite song is I Know You, I Live You by Chaka Khan. His favorite Michael Jackson song is Lady in My Life. He prefers Low End Theory to Midnight Marauders, but adores both.
Yeah, I agree with Low End Theory, definitely. That's my favorite Tribe Called Quest, too, so I'm with him there.
All right, so this is Stress by Homeboy Sandman, the second Zek pick. Talk to you in a minute, bud.
Yep.
Yo. Killer on the loose. Serial killer. Stress is a way to make yourself sick. I try to never get stressed while I exist. So if you feel the need to shout, then shout loud. Don't try to hold your stress in, you'll get stressed out. Once wanted an apology, no apology came. I started to feel the cells in my physiology change. I had to tell her, baby, I think we should take a break. I need me a solution, pollution is in my brain. Stresses are all around. Stress wants to be a verb, make sure that it's a noun. When stresses are repressed, effects can be profound. So don't be in denial when stress is going down. Try to take it all in stride. Please don't keep it all inside. Meditate or exercise, get the demons exercised. Stress is the #1 killer. For folk that never slow down, always gotta be on the run. Stress is the #1 killer. For people in the age group 0 to 101. Stress is the #1 killer. For folk that never fall back, cause there's always something to prove. Stress is the #1 killer. For people in the age group 0 to 102. Stress can sneak in on a weekday or a weekend. Folks think you're being foul, but it's really the stress speaking. You might start being mean at the times when you're stress peaking. You're like a submarine letting out of the stress beacon, aka a distress signal. There's stressful relationships and stress from being single. Maybe you feel stressed because you aren't free to mingle. Or maybe you feel lonely during the days of Kris Kringle. Broke people often think they're stressed cause they're poor, but I have seen too many stressed rich people to ignore. Giving money is generated through blood and more. Obviously creating stress is what money's for. Stress will make your vibe awkward. Stress will make your mind altered. So if stress is on your mind often, try to keep your mind off it. Stress is the #1 killer. When people never say no, steady wasting all of their chi. Stress is the #1 killer. For people in the age group 0 to 103. Stress is the #1 killer. For folk that never let go, cause they need to settle the score. Stress is the #1 killer. For people in the age group 0 to 104. Stress is the #1 killer. Stress is the #1, yes, it's the #1. Stress is the #1 killer. Stress is the #1, yes, it's the #1. Stress is the #1 killer. Stress is the #1, yes, it's the #1. Stress is the #1 killer. Stress is the #1. Stress is the #1 killer. When people push away truth, living in abundance of lies. Stress is the #1 killer. For people in the age group 0 to 105. Stress is the #1 killer. For folk that never take time, always wanna be in a mix. Stress is the #1 killer. For people in the age group 0 to 106. Stress is the #1 killer.
Song Surfers, we return with a third pick from Zek.
All right, so this third one I have, it's a pretty unique band, quite a bit of departure from the others. It's a band from Brazil called Papangu. They mix metal and King Crimson-style prog rock with local ethnic and folk influences. So among the guitars and keyboards, they have South American percussion. They have all these different melodies and vocals and chanting in Portuguese. The songs are all really varied too, where some lean into high-tempo rock, some have more of a slower sledge pace, some even thrash with, say, the rhythmic sensibility of Mastodon. The song I'm playing today is Agua Branca. It's off their debut album, Hallucino. And it definitely has a bit of each of those moods in it. The instrumental section near the end where the keyboards go off is definitely a highlight, as is the complex whirling drumming performed throughout the track. Folk-influenced metal and rock can sometimes come off a bit gimmicky, but these guys integrate all those influences in a cohesive package, and it really makes for a really fun listen.
Agua Branca means white water in Portuguese and is both the name of a town in the Brazilian northeastern outback and a reference to the rapids of the São Francisco River near it. As the album Oliceno is a concept album, this song depicts a botched ritual sacrifice, which sets a chain reaction that'll cause an environmental disaster at the end of the record.
Yeah, even the concept is pretty unique. They do everything very differently.
Another home run, Zach. Excellent selections today. Very good.
Look forward to next
I
time.
sound like I'm rating you. Very good. you get a gold star, Zach. Thanks, Zach.
All right, thanks, John.
Sou
And that music means it's time for me to say thanks for listening to Song Surfing. Thanks to all of the artists and bands who were a part of this episode. You can find their links on the show notes page of songsurfingpodcast.com. Thanks also to Zek for stopping by with some excellent tunes. Man, I love those. And did that Homeboy Sandman song have a kitten sound in it? Perhaps an ear kitten? You can follow Song Surfing on Facebook and Instagram by searching Song Surfing Podcast, all one word, and on Twitter, Song Surfing Pod. You can follow me on Instagram by searching Oodles Music. And remember, folks, to follow, rate, and review over on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Podchaser, Podcast Addict. Here is one of those reviews over on podchaser.com. Laura Meets Musicians, who we know well, said, I had the pleasure of being interviewed by John about my project for indie musicians. I really appreciate the way Song Surfing Podcast aims to showcase musicians from all over the world. It's undoubtedly an interesting listen. Surely recommend if you like to open your mind about music and discover new genres and musicians. Thanks so much, Laura. And friends, you can check out the Laura Meets Musicians blog by going to laurameetsmusicians.blogspot.com. There's also a super active Instagram account, Laura Meets Musicians, and I believe she's on Twitter as well. The opening theme of the show is Living in a Fishbowl by Josh Ween, and the outro music that you're hearing right now is Little Pills by Patrick Moonbird. My name's John Kehl. See you next time.